It's the most wonderful time of the year. Better still, it's the most wonderful day of the year. Merry Christmas to you. Today, the 25th of December for the year 2023. It's a beautiful time to be alive, a beautiful time to be healthy and to be able to smile. And that's why I thank you so much for being a part of Business Morning from January till today. You at home celebrating. We are here ensuring that you don't get bored, So Merry Christmas to you. Welcome to Business Morning. It is still 55 minutes of current and relevant business talk, so you can expect that conversations today will be around Christmas, but we still have to do business. You're welcome to the program. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Now, we start off with no oil trading today, no grains trading today, but Christmas. And so as it's Christmas, the high costs of transportation and then the scarcity of Naira notes have left many stranded back here in Nigeria. Residents are traveling from Kaduna, from Taraba, Plateau State to various parts of the country for Christmas, lament the astronomical increase in transport fare, which they say is far more than what they used to pay before the Yuletide season. Unfortunately, the federal government's declaration of 50% slash in transport fare hasn't helped much. Let's see that report. I will be back to have more Christmas conversations.
At the popular television garage in the Kaduna State capital, the cost of transportation has increased by almost double of the old price, depending on the destination of the passenger. While the transport fare for the southeastern bound passengers have been increased to 28,000 naira from the 18,000 being charged about 2 weeks ago, it is the same fate for those traveling from Kaduna to Kogi and other states in north central and south regions.
From Kaduna to Onitsha this morning, I paid 28,500. In fact, it's very painful because since I've been in Kaduna, we never heard of this kind of high increment. The thing is too much. Look at, we're supposed to have moved by now, but many people wanted to travel, but because of the high costs of the transport, they have to go back.
If you look at here, if you look around now, you cannot see any government vehicle here. One, all the vehicles here are individual vehicles, and there's no provision government made for us here in terms of both fueling and every other things.
Road travelers in Taraba State are lamenting the non-involvement of transportation companies in Taraba State and the 50% slash by the federal government for those traveling for the Yuletide holidays. A visit to some of the parks within Jalingo, the state capital, shows low patronage, while some passengers attribute the removal of fuel subsidy, cash scarcity and inflation.
When I came here this morning, I told them how much is my transportation fee. They were telling me that it has increased, which I was not even happy. Because of the president has said this last week that the transportation must be down. But my coming here, the transportation was high, which I'm not happy.
It's not their fault because the fuel is very cost. That's why the price is like this. I do not blame them. But the federal government should try to do something about the fuel.
As part of alleviating citizens' plights with the hike in transport fares, the Plateau State government has introduced free transportation services to enable citizens travel for the Yuletide. The free bus transportation through the Ministry of Transport will transport citizens to the 17 local government areas of the state, from the state capital to the various local government areas, to ease citizens' movement to their destinations and celebrate the Yuletide with their respective families.
I will forever remember because this journey now, I'm supposed to travel together with them, but due to my work, but my family are going. I'm very happy. see, and all these things that are happening is because of government hard work and to show that, okay, the democracy we are in, we voted the government that we can help the poor people on this hardship.
Although the federal government had on Friday announced a 50% discount for people traveling for the Christmas, commercial drivers and even the passengers in parts of northern Nigeria say they are not aware of the package. Instead, they blame the government for removing petrol subsidy without providing adequate alternatives.
So that's it on the road. Christmas travels being hampered by high cost of transport fare. I think, well, the announcement of the federal government only fueled more desires for travel, but it did not, can't seem to accommodate all the demands that have come on the road. But it's not just about the roads there. Of course, you also have gift items are being shared at this time. People just want to relax at home, so there's more food, more purchases. So let's find out what's going on in that area with the Chief Executive Officer of Buy More Supermarket, Mr. Dominic Essien. He couldn't leave his house for Christmas, so he joins us virtually. Good morning, Mr. Essien. Thank you for your time. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you very much, Jenny, and Merry Christmas to you and the viewers. All
right, and then we also have Fisayo Adebanjo. She's on the road even as we speak. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Hampers Us. So the name tells us what she's doing on the road. Hi, Fisayo. Good morning. I think you're muted. Could you unmute? I think you're muted, Fisayo. We had to grab Fisayo. She's on her way to do some deliveries. I mean, one would have thought that before Christmas Day, the deliveries would already have been done, but we see she's still in the business of doing deliveries. Fisayo, I hope you are muted now. Tell us when you, right before we talk to you, Fisayo, last year, this time, I went out to see how the hampers and purchases at the supermarkets were being done. So let's see that report, and then we'll get the first-hand experience from both of them to see if things are better in 2023 compared to 2022 or not. It's indeed the season to be jolly. In Nigeria, the season comes with exchange of gifts, mostly captured in hampers. The culture has grown so much that online markets create special platforms, which is most active at the end of the year, to allow ordering and delivery of hampers. Offline supermarkets have over the years positioned themselves to satisfy this demand. With inflation at 21.47%, a dollar exchange is officially at above 452 naira, but is more accessible at over 700 naira at the parallel market. Petrol, which determines transport cost, is being sold at well above the regulated pump price of 165 naira for a litre. These macroeconomic factors mean that the cost of living and operating businesses have skyrocketed. The act of exchanging hampers has not escaped this.
We're trying to make it cheaper by getting products that are cheap, then we'll add them all together and then we'll sell it. Like for example, we have some 50,000 naira, our profit is not that much. So we also try to make the basket available because some people prefer to buy the goods themselves, the wrapper themselves, and then go home and then choose how they arrange the hamper themselves. So for the most part, we sell the already prepared ones. We also sell the basket so that it makes people want to do the hamper by themselves rather than recharging them for the hamper.
In the open market, the picture is hardly different. Mrs. Davis, who always looks forward to a bumper sales at this time, is thankful for little mercies.
Things has really gone up, and you can't compare what is happening last year to this year. Last year, it was a little bit fair, but this year, it's not easy. Everybody knew it's not easy. It's not easy. It depends. It depends. The price varies from 20,000 upward. And before we can see like 5,000 hampers, no matter you cut your coat according to your size. But now you can't even get hampers of 5,000. It's not even possible. Even though 10,000 is not, I don't think you can.
I'm basically into giftings at Christmas.
Mrs. Omonike George Ayudu would normally have hampers set for delivery at this time. According to her, if she had been stuck in this line of business, she would have lost out on revenue.
We cater to those that would like to give to like the less privileged, so they ask us to pack for them. So we pack in 5 kgs, we pack in 2.5 kgs, okay, and we help them in terms of to seal and all that. And of course, also we also do, now most of the vegetable oil companies, I don't want to mention names, most of vegetable oil companies, they now have some of them in sachet. That plays a very big role in terms of how, all of those giftings would come. And of course, like I said, most of those giftings come in food items rather than proper hamper where you would have to require imported items and assortments that may not be in the immediate need of the people.
Nigerians, like many others around the world, are barely clinging on to the gesture of exchanging gifts at this time. Hopefully, the economy will become more buoyant and the hampers will make a bigger return in 2023. Ini John Mekwa, Channels Television News. All right, well, that was my hope by December 2022 that the economy will be more buoyant and then hampers will be more, givers will be more generous in 2023. But then inflation was at 21.47. Now inflation is at 28.20. Well, let's see if Nigerians have been able to, come over that and still give out as much or even more than last year. First of all, let's talk to Fisayo. Hi, Fisayo. You are in the business of hampers. And so we heard there that as of last year, the least you can get or spend on a hamper is 20,000 naira. Do we still have 20,000 naira hampers this year?
At the moment, I'd say yes. But the quality of the items in the basket would not be, it won't be something, it won't be something memorable because you will have to pick different things just so that you'll be able to fit things into your budget. And then you have to start making substitutions. You can get a hamper for 20,000 naira, I'd say, but don't expect the quality of the items to be great.
And then we also saw that last year, it seemed people turned more to food items, and did more of rice and all those staple food. How is the content of hampers this year?
For my business, that was what we stuck to this year as well. We went straight to food items, so rice, beans, garri, palm oil, things that we know that people need every day, because they're going to value that more. And previous times when we pack our hampers, we do cookies, we do juices and sweets, but then we realized that those, I mean they will be appreciated, but it's just better if we give people food items, because we know that at least they'll be able to have something for the holidays without having to spend anything, as little as it is that they'll be able to save, and that helps. That goes a long way. So I think food items like hampers, where I know a lot of vendors as well whose strategy this year was to make all their hampers have food items, and I think that's a great idea. Nobody runs away from food.
So you think that culture has come to stay?
I would say that it has come to stay. It has come to stay. And there's something quite interesting that I noticed with the amount of people that are traveling out of the country. So we have a lot of families where, they're separated, their loved ones are in different countries. So it's just a little way of letting them know that, okay, I may not be with you physically, but here's a little something I can send to my family, and we just curate hampers for them. That was something that I took note particularly this year, and that made me realize that I think the hamper business is here to stay.
So you have clients who are abroad and call you, make orders for delivery to their families in Nigeria. Wow, nice one. But how would you compare, when you compare the demand of 2022 and 2023, where do you place them?
2022 was much better, to be honest. right now, everybody just wants to celebrate like the little that they can. But in 2022, we were able to churn out a lot of hampers compared to this year. I would not say that this year was totally horrible, but definitely 2022 was better.
All right. So now let me turn to Mr. Essien. You run a supermarket, and we saw that last year when we went to the supermarket. You had the strategy of selling the baskets. So people buy baskets more, then they fill it in by themselves. It seems it came out cheaper, and then generally demand and sales, the traffic at your supermarket compared to last year, how is it looking?
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, this year is a bit different. You will agree with us that while you're quoting inflationary figures, I'm more interested in the food inflation, which is above 30%. What you tend to see this year is that we just continue with the basket sales so that people can at their convenient pick and choose whatever they want and then sell and send to their people. The sales of hampers has really reduced in our stores, and the sales of the gifting has also reduced. And again, that's because of the nature of the economy this year. We think that consumer spending will reduce when the data comes that if it increases for any reason, it will be marginal. So people are really finding it very difficult. You need to stand inside the mall and see how people are very sensitive to things that they ordinarily would have bought conveniently, but they look at it and look for an alternative for that particular product. The only thing that they tend to sell will be the food item area. If anything luxury, people are not so interested because first of all they need to survive. It's the natural human instinct to survive. So first of all, you want to at least cater for your family's basic needs, and that's what people are buying: drinks and food items. But anything luxury, they are not. So spending hasn't been very, very exciting, and not just across board. It's not only for the poor or middle class, but across board, because even the rich, who most times support the poor, cannot afford some things today. So they rather now, the pressure is now a lot on everybody. So spending has become really, really reduced.
What about the issue of imports? We know that FX has been a major one this year, the value of Naira and all of that. Do you see people switching maybe to domestic or locally produced goods just to, reduce that? Do you see the taste of Nigerians changing?
Oh, it's changing, but I mean, we're still foreign dominated in our taste bud, yes, but it is changing. But people now realize that, the exchange rates are really, really high, and so they cannot afford some of the things that they used. But even us as retailers, if you realize that most of the suppliers credit that people used to offer no longer exist, because when you get a credit today, when you're paying back, the exchange rate has moved, so literally the person offering you credit is in a lost position, so we don't get that. But in terms of taste, people are beginning to migrate and see what alternative do we have in the market to cover up for, mention some of those quality drinks, branded drinks, carbonated drinks. We have alternative here. Mention some of those rice products. People try to tweak, and some of those foreign products have been substituted seriously here. But significant part of minute part of the consumers still want to, mix and match some of the foreign and local together, but people are changing to local products. And it's also very disappointing that some of those local conglomerate of manufacturers are now leaving the market. So again, there are opportunities for people to tap into those areas where these manufacturers are leaving, but there's still some challenges in the economy that might not help people completely change their purchasing pattern or taste bud.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to say, can we use you guys as owners of supermarkets or, packaging of gifts? Can we use you to, I don't want to say impose the domestic products, locally produced products on Nigerians, but is it possible that the local products are more available than the foreign ones? Do you think that could be a strategy to...
It will definitely help. It will definitely help because your purchasing power will be higher when you want to afford local product. But what we tend to do in our business as a model, we allow all locally produced products on the shelves, especially if it is NAFDAC registered. So allow them so that people can have an option. If you walk into any of our business location and you say you have a local product, once you have a NAFDAC registration, we pump it on the shelf because we want people to be able to use it. But we cannot impose this on consumers because we don't know how much they have, we don't know how much they can spend, and we don't know the challenges that the manufacturers of those local products are facing. So if they come with the right product, with the right packaging, with the right pricing, we bring them on board and have people pick from it. But using us to achieve that, well, we're available. It's not like using us, but our shelves are available for you to display those products as long as they are NAFDAC certified, because we cannot independently verify if they're quality products or not, but will depend on the expertise of NAFDAC officials to get it done. But we want to encourage more, as a business, we want to encourage more people in food packaging or locally made products so that we can give consumers some alternative, because it's really very tough. And that's where we find out. I mean, take for instance, most things have gone up, especially after the subsidy. Transport fare went up. Immediately that goes up. The market women, the suppliers also move their prices up. Exchange rate moved up. Suppliers will move their prices up. We don't know the challenges that they face at the port. They also move their challenges up. So it becomes a final burden on the consumer. So for us in business, instead of us increasing our margin, what we tend to do, because it's a volume-driven business, we then reduce our margin. But in reducing your margin, remember your salary, your generator, your power, and other costs remain constant. So you're just playing the number game in order to stay afloat. But it's been so government should come in to help everybody, from the retailer to the consumer, and the channels that we have provided for this sales to happen.
All right, Fisayo, let me find out from you, what's the degree of local products and imported products when you're putting your hamper? How much consciousness do you put to that? All right. Oh, looks like we've lost Fisayo there. I mean, it would have been really nice, to try and find. I'm sure she's going to do a delivery. A client is calling, but it would really be nice to know the consciousness, when hampers are being put together, to find out, do I consciously put the Nigerian-made products, or do I just put whatever I think that consumers would like? Well, so since we have just Mr. Isen, so you did call for help. Obviously, everybody wants the federal government to help them. But what kind of help do you think, beyond Christmas and the festivities, we're going into New Year, starting a new cycle afresh. What strategy do you think that the governments can employ? For instance, we have seen the government announce a 50% slash in transport fare. And we've seen it hasn't gone really much. We heard of palliative when subsidy was removed. We've had complaints about that. Businesses like yourself, you want help. Obviously, consumers also want help. Subsidies still being removed, in quotes. What strategy do you think the government can employ for effective impact, on the life of Nigeria, the cost of living in the country?
Well, first at the top of my brain is that government needs to think through any of the policies that they want to implement. Don't just announce it and let people jump at it and realize that it's not working or it's not happening. That even gives a bad name to your policy or your intended goal. So those two things you've mentioned, the 50% reduction in transportation costs. I haven't seen anybody who's come up to say, yes, I really enjoyed it. It was good. I thank God. Everybody's complaining that some people have shut down their park to say, government didn't give me any money. I'm not going to carry it for free. And then it comes back to negative publicity on the side of government. But for businesses, the cost of doing business is very, very high. Most businesses now borrow at a rate of 27%. If you borrow at 27%, what's your margin? How are you going to recoup that? So government needs to look for a strategic way of enabling retailers or businesses to genuinely get credit at a lower rate. If it's single digit, but make it possible. I know Bank of Industry was campaigning at some point about single digit. We do not affect the retail sector. And the retail sector where you get to reach the final consumers more. So government should come in, try and provide a single digit interest rate for them, for the businesses like ours. We still spend very much on diesel. Power should be, and some power considerations should be done in the area of ensuring that we have steady power supply, and that reduces our cost of buying diesel and all of that. Once those kind of initiatives are brought in, we'll be able to survive. Those manufacturing locally should be encouraged. I don't know how they're going to think through, but the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and some of their bodies were able to advise government on how to properly support locally made product in Nigeria. I'm not saying that there should be import substitution, not completely, but some tactical way of encouraging those who have started to make products which Nigerians can buy to substitute what they are currently importing. That way, we will not put a lot of pressure on dollar. And once you put pressure on dollar, for us, we just always pass the buck to final consumers. So we need to find a way to reduce that pressure on FX and an interest rate for businesses like us.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Dominic Essien, the Chief Executive Officer of Buy More Supermarkets. And Merry Christmas once again. Thank you for sharing part of that with us.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a break. When we come back, that issue that Mr. Essien mentioned, which is exits of companies, we'll look at the pharmaceutical industry in Nigeria, the impact so far. I've heard of some very sad stories. And then what to expect next year. Perhaps this is an opportunity. Who knows? We'll talk about that after the break. You stay with us here on Business Morning. Welcome back to watching Business Morning right here on Channels Television. Well, data on foreign trade from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that medications worth 81.81 billion naira were imported into the country from July to September 2023. This is an increase of 68% from the 48.74 billion naira imported drugs in the same quarter of the previous year. It's also an increase of 27% from 64.38 billion recorded in the second quarter. Well, according to analysts, this was contained obviously in the report of the National Bureau of Statistics, but this has been connected to the exit of pharmaceutical companies from the country in the last couple of months, if you check at those numbers from July to September. Well, let's talk more about this. This, I must tell you, is an everyday problem for some individuals in Nigeria who depend on medication, a worrying trend we see, which Christmas doesn't solve. Well, we have to discuss that. Mr. Adewale Oladigbolu is a national chairman, Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, well, but in the midst of Christmas, some people are in the hospital, some people are still living on medication. Yes. Unfortunately, there's some drugs, I kind of mentioned the name, that used to be about 15,000, 17,000 naira. Now I hear they're about 40,000 naira, 60,000 naira, especially some of those antibiotics that are used after surgery and things like that. And this has been connected to the exit of some companies from the country.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen a trend, tremendous increase in prices of medicines. And that means people are not able to afford those medicines. They will stay longer in the hospital. Some few people may die as a result of that. And then the healthcare system in general will be discredited just because medicines are not available.
But can't we make ours? Isn't this an opportunity for us to do ours?
Yes, in every crisis there is an opportunity. But this is just addressing the symptom. We are seeing the symptoms of long years of decay in the healthcare infrastructure in the country. In 2018, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria had a conference, and the title of that conference was just Medicine Scarcity and its implication on national security. We are not producing up to 30% of the medications that we need in the country. Even of those 30%, large percentage of those things that go into the manufacturing are imported. From the machines to the starch to the active pharmaceutical ingredient, they are all imported. Probably what you even source in Nigeria is just water. I'm telling you the truth. We have abundance of starch, but we don't have that pharmaceutical grade starch. And government is not engaging enough. And that's very pathetic.
What engagement should the government be doing? I mean, I am sure we have the raw materials.
Yeah.
I am sure we have the brains.
Yeah. If I say government is not engaging, I really mean it, and it hurts me a lot. One, we are not producing enough. The tariff on imported medicine and even raw materials are high, and then government is not looking at the fundamentals. The starch that we are using in the country is imported, but we have cassava starch, we have corn starch, but we cannot transit it to the pharmaceutical grade. What stops government from bridging that and say, look, let's focus on this particular one, because the starch goes into most of the tablets that we are using, and even the capsules. So why can't we focus on that particular one, get it right, make sure that we reduce the amount of forex that we need to import starch, for example.
So pardon me, you are heading an association.
Yes.
You know what the problem is.
Yes.
As with other sectors, the private sector has a major, responsibility also. Isn't it possible to attract private sector, even if it's people who are not into you have business people who are looking for where to. Isn't it possible to get business individuals to invest their funds? I mean, with the promise of profits.
All right, that's very interesting. Attracting fund at what interest rate, at what participatory level. And aside from that, if you look at similar industry, not so similar, but very important industry like the petroleum industry, for example, what did government do with refineries? What did they do with private refineries? Did they bring in some fund? Is that possible for the pharmaceutical sector, the sectors that maintains the life of every Nigerian? Is it possible to bridge that funding gap? Every time, even when Dangote started its refineries, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria had a project to engage, but most of the people are not seeing the values in it. Pharmaceutical industry is not just profit-driven alone. You just have to also look at the humanitarian aspect of it. There is a certain level of profit that you can't make in pharmaceutical industry. Otherwise, you will know that people need your products, but they are dying because they can't afford it. And the recent problem that we have, like I said, it's a symptom of already years of decay, years of not focusing on the industry. You can imagine, even in Nigeria till today, we still have open drug distribution system. We have Idumota, we have Ariara, we have all this. These are symptoms of dysfunctional system. You cannot have a robust investment in the industry when the people who are bringing the fund are not seeing cleanness in terms of distribution and how their money will return. You understand? GSK is leaving Nigeria. Sanofi has left Nigeria. Sanofi is leaving Nigeria. GSK has left. Why are they leaving? Can we address the problem of drug distribution system? Why are other companies not coming? Many more companies have exited Nigeria. Why? It is because we do not have appropriate drug distribution system in this country that guarantees that investment will come in. We still have drugs being smuggled to Nigeria. The GSK products that you are saying that are expensive, that you don't want to mention, we already have smuggled ones into the country. How did they get to the country? So when you are looking at this issue, you look at the regulatory problem, manufacturing problem, the business decisions. So you can't stop a businessman from saying, I'm out of business, I'm leaving your country. But that business entity must have an exit plan, which our regulatory authority failed to demand. What's your exit plan? What level of stock are you holding now? So that we know that within 3 months, we will exhaust the stock you are holding, and then we'll be able to bridge that gap by accelerating registration for other individuals who are interested in those molecules. And Nigerians too are hooked on some of those molecules. GSK has been in Nigeria for over 40 years. So they are hooked on some of those brands. Don't let me even use the word molecules. But the best way to tackle that kind of thing is work with your community pharmacist. Many of those drugs, they have alternatives. Some few ones that do not have alternatives, we don't even have the manufacturing capability to make those ones. And there is a steroid with salbutamol made by GSK. We don't have any plant in Nigeria that can present that product in the form that GSK has presented it. And that's where I'm always looking back to government. Can government say, oh, these priority molecules, how do we tackle them? Right? Salbutamol is a life-saving drug for asthmatic patients. And so when Ventolin went out of existence, and there's only one alternative. The alternative, the price of that alternative also went up. At a point in time, Ventolin inhaler was sold for 15,000. This is a product that used to be for 1.5. And Seretide inhaler for almost 60,000, a product that used to be for 5,000 naira. It is because we are not alive to our responsibility. And I'm sorry to say, it's cut across every strata of our national life. A company is leaving Nigeria, announced in August, and left. And no importation. And they didn't notify the country, and the country is just looking at it like that. So
and there are no consequences.
There are no consequences. That's very unfair. It's very unfair because if my junior sister had an attack of asthma, it was only God that saved her life. As we are talking, people are still finding it extremely difficult to afford their medication. Sure. And it's happening at a very bad season for asthmatic patients.
So what do we do now? I mean, it's so sad because lives are being lost.
Yes.
You know, life expectancy in Nigeria is reducing, and this is even going to make it even worse.
Yeah.
Because people need these medications to maintain their health.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they cannot afford it, or the amount they used to use for a month is now being used in a day, then I mean, what do people do? What really can we do?
From the government perspective, accelerate health insurance. At least let's see be that people are not paying out of pocket when they need their medication or they need their care services.
But health insurance will now become more expensive. Because, I mean, those drugs...
I agree with you, Edie. It will become more expensive, but people will stop dying. And then when government spends a lot of money, they sit back and then say, look, what are we going to do? They are not doing anything now because they are not spending money. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we accelerate that insurance, everybody is under insurance coverage. What's going to happen? We will not die. It's only government that will be concerned. We will no longer be as concerned as we are now.
Because they'll be paying.
Yeah, we won't know the prices of those medications. If at all we know for what they call co-payment under insurance system, we'll only be paying very tiny amount of money. So it won't hurt us that much. But government will now start to sit down and say, what can we do? This product is taking 20 billion of our money every year. How can we address it? Yes. So when you accelerate insurance, that is one sure way. The second way is that NAFDAC needs a robust and agile system to detect drug shortages because it's actually a worldwide phenomenon. They need to detect drug shortages in time and address it in time. Companies do not need to exit Nigeria without an exit plan. Companies that are making products in Nigeria have to supply to submit their capability to NAFDAC on regular basis so that you don't push drug into the market, people depend on it, and then because of your business failure, then people are dying. It's very unfair.
All right, there's a lot to talk about because you also talked about the distribution chain also.
Yes.
That also seems to have been adulterated or infiltrated by...
That distribution chain in Nigeria, there has been conferences. People have profiled solution, and yet we are not moving.
It's not about the talks.
We are not moving forward at all.
It's not about the talks.
And you know what the problem is? When you want to bring fake medicines into this country, just approach the open drug market. Let them take it, and then it will be in every household. But if we have a clean distribution system, a good drug distribution channel, then it is difficult for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to bring medicines in.
I guess Nigerians will also need to be enlightened on it, you know, to know that you don't just go out to the open markets and get drugs. You should get it from some approved
channels.
Yes.
See, I'm known for speaking my mind. Nobody will hold me responsible. Go to Idumata. You will see some ambulances of government hospitals parked there buying drugs. That's not about individual. You will see lots of private hospitals, ambulances parked there buying drugs. Is it about individual? It's not about individuals. You are buying drugs that has had supply chain excursion. There was a time a friend of mine told me there are these drugs that are very important in fertility. But they found out that it is coming in from Libya when Libya was still stable. So they tried to find out how do they bring it in. they find out that they put these drugs in a pack and put it on top of engine of trucks that are coming in. And yet, when we want to destroy drug and check how long they will last, we subject them to that kind of high temperature. So what is left for the patient to take? And then fertility patients will depend on such drugs, and they will not get to go, and then there will be crisis in the family. So,
wow. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Diwali Oladigbolu, National Chairman, Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria. It really is a sad one, because it's the reality of some Nigerians, even as we speak. You know, asthma, diabetes, and all of that. But thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's just switch over to the market and see. I think, Anita, we have Santa Claus. I don't know if that's what Anita would like to be called this Christmas morning. Anita comes in looking like a Santa Claus without the beards. And without gifts. Anita, do you have gifts for us?
Just call me the financial Santa and you're not wrong.
Well, if I call you financial Santa, Anita, you have to give me some money.
Well, but the money I brought is actually, well, not me to be precise, is that last week you were the one on the market last week. Where the market recorded 73,000.
You now. You said I should call you financial Santa.
I'm representing
Santa gives gifts. Yes. I need gifts from you.
Okay, I'm representing the financial market Santa. And that's why you see me. This is just once in a while where you see me dressed in this Santa Claus cap that you see here. And of course, my colleague Ini was on the market last week. But we'll be talking about the market later. But let's talk first about the Forex market trading at the FMDQ Forex market, where FX is traded, and it was a positive one pre-Christmas, the week before Christmas. Then you see on your board there you should also take into cognizance that we'll be having just about 3 trading weeks, 3 trading sessions this week. But the week before Christmas, this was 41.02% increase in the total value of Forex traded on the FMDQ here. What you see here on your board, 798.89, almost $800 million traded. And this is all thanks to the FX spot market, which had 37.91%, as well as the FX derivatives, more than 580% increase. Now, in terms of the Naira at the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Fixing, NAFEX, you saw the Naira making a little bit of a reprieve, getting a little bit of a reprieve week on week. It was up by 0.28% at 893 Naira 51 kobo, in contrast to 896 Naira 3 kobo, and that's because there was more activities there for that market. Now let's switch over to the equities market side. Equities market, as I mentioned, it was a back-to-back Monday, back-to-back Wednesday and Thursday. We first saw the previous week 72,000, and then a week after we saw 73,000, and a day after that we saw 74,000. We closed Thursday, it was 74, but then Friday we saw a little bit of pullback, but so far the market is up. Week to date, 2.26%. Month to date, 3.7%, and guess what? Year to date, 44.4%. Now, to give us more perspective on this market, let's talk to Tajudeen Olayinka, the Chief Executive Officer at Wyoming Capital. Thank you for joining us, Tajudeen. Hello, Tajudeen. Can you hear us? Hello, Tajudeen, please, if you can hear, can you kindly unmute your mic? Okay, I think we have a little bit of connectivity problem with Tajudeen. So, like I mentioned, the market last week, the equities market, we saw volume of transactions was in the green at 2.41 billion volume of shares, if we can have that on your board there. But on my script here, what I have is that the volume of transactions, it was in the green, 2.47%. The total value carried out there, 53.78 billion naira. And then the total number of deals also in the green. There you can see there, 35,848 number of deals. Now, in terms of sectoral performance, we saw a bit of a mixed picture. There was all positives except for the consumer goods counter, which had a 0.7% pullback, no thanks to the impact of some sell pressure there. And like I mentioned before, Friday's trading session, it was in the red, but 4 trading sessions last week had the greens, and of course that made the market to have a 2.26% increase. Now, in terms of the gainers, out of more than 50 gainers, about 52 gainers, we had Infinity Trust, Dark Communications, and Multiverse making about 60.64%, 50%, and 41.25% accordingly in terms of the gainers there. Thank you for that, for giving us that details on the board. Now, on the flip side of that market, the top losers, out of about 30 losers, we had Associated Bus Company, which was the #1 loser. Now, let's get back to Tajuddin to give us more details about this market. Thank you for joining us, Tajuddin.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Anete.
Yes, Merry Christmas. It was a Santa rally, and you're a trader at the NGX. So can you give us more details about this pre-Christmas Santa rally, which we saw 73,000 on Wednesday, 74,000 on Thursday, and then their projection that the market is heading towards the 80,000 points. So what's your view on this?
Okay, yes, you call it Santa rally, but, those of us who are traders will see, beyond just the Santa rally. What usually happens around this time is that, the year end is, most companies' year end is 31st December, and, investors and traders alike will now begin to take position ahead of the final result that we are expecting. No, don't forget, we have received 3 quarters result, first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter. What we are looking for is now the fourth quarter, and of course the audited account for the full year. So what we see usually around this time is for investors and those savvy traders to come in and take position ahead of the declaration of results possibly in February 2024. So what we are seeing is more of financial year rally for some of these companies, even though it coincides with Christmas season. So some investors call it Santa rally, but those of us who know what is happening, we prefer to say it's actually a build-up to financial year-end rally, and that's what we are seeing currently. It's going to go. The index is going to go beyond what we are seeing, but eventually it will moderate because if you look at what is going to happen in 2024, government has said that. Most activities around the economy in 2024 will be driven by the private sector. So they are going to be using private capital, which means that more companies will be listed on the exchange, and those companies who are already listed will now also be able to issue new shares, either by way of bonus issue or whatever, in a way to actually benefit from what is happening and what government has in the budget of 2024. So clearly, we are going to see more activities in the market in 2024, and of course, we'll see more rally, even though I expect that rally to also moderate as the investors begin to take profit.
Okay, Tajuddin, I think we'll leave that, the details of the equities market for Thursday's trading session, where we will be taking more look at the market. But we thank you for your analysis on the previous trading session and the outlook for the year. So that was Tajuddin Olayinka, Chief Executive Officer at Wyoming Capital and Partners, giving us details about the equities market. Now, if I do have more time, Ini, I wanted to give you the outlook for the week. Yes, it's still a holiday.
Oh, don't worry, you have tomorrow, Anita. Trust me. Tomorrow, okay. you're back here, and no market is open. So
no market is open. Yeah,
you can give your expectations for the week, the shortened week,
the holiday shortened week.
Yeah.
Well, and expect a thin trading. That's my outlook.
Okay. Financial Santa. Well, I guess from Financial Santa to Crypto Santa, it's a Santa day for me here. And that is so proud. Walks in proudly.
The market that's not closed.
No, but just like I asked Anita, you guys can't come here with your red heart and your colors of Christmas and not hold a gift.
Yeah, so
it's just the balance.
So about the gift, the Grinch took it from me on the way in here. So you get that gift some other time.
God.
Yeah, you know how the Grinch is.
This is the Nigerian style.
Exactly. You know how the Grinch can be sometimes, trying to steal Christmas. But definitely, looking at the crypto market at this time, it's still looking not so bad, even though we're in the red this morning talking about Bitcoin, but we see the market is still very greedy. So red is the color for the market today. Let's look at the color now. We see it's red. right there, even though he's wearing red and I'm wearing green, a green tie, but we're seeing red dominate the screen today in the crypto market, but we're seeing good pockets of green at the same time. Let's look at the sentiment. That's the top cryptocurrencies that we track. Top 100 coins on CoinMarketCap. We see pullbacks there, 0.57% at 8 a.m. this morning for Bitcoin, losing at 44,000 level. Ethereum is still way above, way above the $2,000 psychological level, 0.21%. So we're seeing pullbacks now with major cryptocurrencies we track. But XRP, that's in the green there, 61 cents, 0.54% up. Let's bring in Rume Ofi now, financial market analyst. Hello, Rume. Good morning.
Good morning, Laddie. Good morning.
Great to have you, Rume, even though we're wearing different hats, at this time. But I like your hat, Rume. But look, we got that big news over the weekend. Remember, banks were not allowed to carry out crypto transactions before now, but we've seen that the central bank has changed that, at this time. So now banks can carry out crypto transactions, but banks cannot hold cryptocurrency. They cannot trade cryptocurrency. Tell us about this.
Yes, it was a good news, and we are very delighted. We've been speaking of all of this for a long while now, and it shows that the government is actually listening, and also better late than never. Remember what happened in 2021, where the central bank placed a ban on crypto transactions from the bank. In fact, some banks were even fined some amounts that actually didn't comply with some of those guidelines at some point. But it's a welcome development. Virtual asset service providers has guidelines now in Nigeria. Cryptocurrency is no longer banned from the bank in Nigeria. It's a welcome development thanks to the authorities and the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for having interest in all of this, because if it is not, nothing of such will happen. The world is moving very fast. Virtual asset is also moving very fast. We have to incorporate that. But I love something in this guideline. Bank directors of exchange platforms are going to provide KYC from house addresses to BVN numbers to a whole lot, Then also, they are also going to provide their capital, which goes side by side with the directive of the Securities and Exchange Commission in Nigeria as of 2022, May then, that they need certain capital. But I am also scared right now because indigenous platform may not be able to give such capital, right? Nigeria brands that may not be able to afford. I think the fee is about 500 million naira. Right? It might be difficult for them to scale. So, but eventually, the big boys are obviously going to scale to bring out such capital.
Okay.
But I think this guideline needs to provide a leeway for Nigerian products to thrive.
All right. So what are you expecting now that the ban has been lifted? What are you seeing for 2024 for the crypto industry in Nigeria?
A lot of institutional interests are going to come to Nigeria. Companies are going to come to Nigeria. You're going to see them come in. They have been wanting to come in, but the environment is not yet conducive for them. But now it seems that we're going to obviously have inflows that most likely going to build on our naira to be much stronger, because we need some of this money to push the economy forward.
Right, definitely we'll be looking out for that. But we're seeing crypto this morning, we're seeing Bitcoin price action not looking so bad, but it's in the red. What are you seeing here? Are you seeing price volatility in the market this period? It's Christmas.
Yeah, so this December, if you ask me, one of the favorable December is usually a bit kind of rough for Bitcoin, but this year has been really fair because we're looking at ETF approval in January most likely. So all of the more like crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So inspiration is there that, let's see what goes on. So the market is holding down, moving very slowly, but speculators should be very careful because it's still moving sideways of some sort. So some persons are also losing money. Like we always say in this market, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs are slaughtered.
Right. definitely we'll be looking out for more now at this market, but it's a holiday right now. I know this market doesn't sleep. Traders are still trading at this time, and the market is still going on. Thank you so much, Rumeofi, for coming on.
Thank you very much, Ladi, and congratulations to Nigerians.
Thank you. All right, so Ini, there you have it.
Exciting news. I knew you were going to feed on that, or try to feed on that. You know, but I mean, I guess it's also important to note what it means, because some people just think all the limitations with crypto and the banks have been lifted.
Not all.
It is important to know that, well, now Binance can send you some money to your account. You don't have to do peer-to-peer. But it doesn't mean that banks themselves...
Banks cannot trade.
Banks cannot, and they shouldn't trade anyway. I mean, they have their hands
maybe they want to get in on that profit.
Already. Anyway, so it's
a wonderful time.
I think this is the first time I'll be meeting you directly.
Right here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For the three of us at the same time.
Exactly.
It's
I would like to say, but at the end of the day, these markets have been good to you know, some investors.
Investments have been smiling.
Exactly.
Well, I started the program by saying it's a wonderful time of the year. It's the most wonderful time, which is what channels would like to say. But I also tweaked that to say it's the most wonderful day of the year.
It's the most wonderful day.
When do you see the three of us on set at the same time?
Exactly.
Yeah. Where the sun...
Anete goes there
and
again.
The stars
meet up.
Anete goes there. Anete, who's the star, who's the moon?
I think
Stella. All right.
Stella. You're the star.
Right.
I can see the...
All right. Okay, so well, this is all we can do. Thank you so much for being a part. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from all of us. Eat the chicken, remain some for us.
Yeah, so please
we'll be at your house in a bit.
Please.
Take care. Take care and enjoy the rest of your days.
Yeah, so...